You're watching Conversations with AnouMe. Today's topic is molding yourself to desires of others.
Ooh, I like this one.
The floor is yours.
Well, I think this comes from an example that I shared with Ines. I think it's probably about a month ago now. And what I noticed is that whether we realize it or not, we have a natural tendency to mold ourselves to other people's desires. So, give you an example. If you are single, right, and you meet someone for the first time and you find out a little bit about them, and then just say that they like something but you don't particularly like it, what you might come across is that you may show an interest in that and come across that you also like it. So that's what I mean in terms of molding yourself to somebody else's desires. And it's not that we don't do it consciously, we do it subconsciously, because deep down inside what we're really looking for is connection. You know, and we find that if we have a mutual connection, so whether we like the same restaurants or we like the same, I don't know,
or
traveling or the same
wines or you name it. Yeah,
anything. Exactly. So if we find that mutual sense of connection, then we can take that relationship forward, or we can deepen that connection. So it's not something that we do consciously, right? And in some ways it's great to kind of make the connections, but the downside is that if you're someone that just molds themselves to their partner, and we're taking it, this happens in friendships too, but let's just kind of take it in a relationship. So you start off saying, yes, I love that type of food, for example, but really you don't. And then that leads to something else. And so, yes, I really love traveling, but actually you really don't. Oh, yes, I'd love to move, but actually you really want to stay where you are. It may work for a bit, but then resentment will build up within yourself. So you start resenting that other person, right? But the other person has no idea, because from their perspective, it's like, well, you also said you like this, or you also shared an interest in it.
Correct.
Yeah. But all of this is happening on a subconscious level, because deep down we're really looking for the connection. This is something that I observed.
But isn't there another way to build that connection?
Yeah, there is. And I think there's a more conscious way of building that connection. And it does take a bit of time getting used to, because I'm still in the process of kind of building more and more conscious connections. And it's a little bit tricky because we're all at different places in terms of level of consciousness or level of awareness, if you want to give it a better word for it. And when you're more in a relationship where you're more aware, you're able to speak more honestly about what it is that you like and you dislike. So then you also like the other person for their likes and dislikes, not just because you got a mutual connection. You like them for who they are,
and not just because you agree about the same thing that you both like it, right?
Yes. So you're then you're then being yourself, right? And then you're also then making a choice of whether you go forward in that relationship, accepting that actually there's some things that you don't like, but you don't need everything in one relationship. So say if you're a foodie and your partner isn't, but you've got friends that are foodies.
Correct. Yeah.
You can still be with that partner, because you probably have other things in common. Basically what I'm saying is that you don't need to have everything in common, and just become, and I think going back to your point is that we unconsciously tend to mold ourselves to other people's desires to kind of fit in and to be accepted and to feel a level of connection. What I'm trying to say is that you can still have a level of connection, because when you know yourself, you are more connected with yourself. Right? So you feel a deep sense of connection. So therefore you can be yourself. And therefore you'll then attract others that can also be themselves too. And then you make a mutual choice of whether you continue on a more conscious level. I hope that makes sense. I know it's a little bit scattered and a bit all over the place.
It makes perfect sense. And it almost feels like you zoomed a tiny little situation that occurs day in and day out in our lives and interactions that we was not even aware of. And somehow it made me think of when we were all kids, or we were all in school, we tend to pick our friends based on common interests, right? Without maybe realizing what you just said, right? So, oh, we both love blue. Oh yeah, let's be best friends, right?
Yes. And then it's fine, because we are looking for the common interest. Just check in with yourself that if someone loves something, do you also love it too?
Yeah.
And be honest about it.
You mean, does it come from a real feeling of me liking it as well, or does it come from a feeling of or need to have a connection, establish a connection?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's just to kind of check in with yourself to say, okay, do I like that too? And if you don't, it doesn't mean you say no. You just say, well, I'm not 100% keen on it, but I'm willing to give it a go.
Yeah.
So you've been really crystal clear about it, so it's less resentment that builds up over time. So you're not fooling yourself and you're not fooling the other person.
Correct. No, it makes perfect sense, and thank you for that. Thank you guys for watching. Love it. Share it if this resonated with you, or maybe you know someone who might like it. And if you have a specific question, please fill in the form below. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.